Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final third. And today we are looking at Premier League Matchweek 28. A lot of great games, different score lines, some more different than others. We'll get onto that in just a moment. But before we do, Al, can you reveal the player from the last video, please?
Of course I can. It was Yakubu. So let us know in the comments down below if you got that, and of course we'll reveal the quotes for the new player at the end of the video.
Perfect. Let's just jump straight into the first game. So the first game was a Friday night game at 8 o'clock. It was Wolves versus Villa. Wolves with a very, very important win. They might not stay in the league, but a very good win for them. And a very disappointing result for Aston Villa. Before we get into the Wolves side of things, let's discuss Villa and how in the previous video we discussed about the top four race and how Villa seem like they're going to bottle it. And seems like they are continuing that trend of not getting good results.
Yeah, no, like we discussed in the last video, I do think Villa now are probably looking dangerously likely to not finish in the top four, if I'm being honest. The way they're just playing isn't great. I think Hassan's even mentioned it before. You know, that 10-win streak they had, it was kind of more reliant on a lot of individual performance instead of real team play.
Rogers, for example.
Yeah, it just wasn't sustainable. And that's something that we always talked about. It was never going to be sustainable. And it's now finally caught up to them. They're not playing great. Everyone's kind of losing their heads, even the manager, even in the post-match interviews. You've seen how many times he's just crashing out on the interviewers. And yeah, it's just not looking great for Villa. I'm not really sure where the problem is because they do have a great squad, but it just seems like they're not getting, converting enough chances. Martinez has probably been their saving grace in a lot of the results that they did get recently. But yeah, squad depth has obviously also been a big problem for them. But that's like the key problem Villa have had. And we mentioned this in the last video on why we think they have why they have a pretty low chance of, probably finishing in the top four or maybe even the top five. So.
I mean, yeah, the good thing for them is in a sense that they have Europa League football, and they maybe are seen as one of the favourites to go and win that competition. So if they were to bottle it through the league, it's not realistically the end of the world because they have the Europa League that they can go on and try and win. And Unai Emery is a master at winning that. So let's talk about Wolves. Hassan, what did we think about their performance? And I mean, there is an opportunity where they can potentially overtake Burnley, but I don't think they can do more than that.
I mean, with the relegation race right now, it kind of depends on the other teams, as I've always said. If West Ham, I mean, God forbid for Ali's sake, if they go on a very bad losing streak of in every single game, we'll start winning every game, which is very improbable. But if they do, then there's a chance of them actually getting out and actually staying in the Premier League. But as we know with Wolves,
the great escape.
Yeah, literally. But I think the season's been really bad, so I don't think it's gonna. I think it's more of Villa being really bad, as they've been for a long time, rather than Wolves being really good. I mean, Wolves have not been a terrible team because I feel like every loss most losses that they've had have not been losses where they've been completely dominated. It's just they can't see the game out and keep a result. So yeah, I think Wolves are still a good team, but just obviously the start of the season kind of dwindled for them completely, and it carried on with the losing streak. And obviously they had 2 wins, I think 2 or 3 wins this season. So
this year.
Well, no, in general in the league.
Oh, Wolves, you mean? Yeah,
Wolves,
2 wins.
Yeah. So it's just, I mean, it is looking very rough for them, but hopefully things look better for them because I do feel really bad for them and the fans especially.
Yeah, I mean that's a very good result for them because it's also a derby, Midlands derby. So it must have been quite. It might have been a bit bittersweet to be fair, because obviously they've been so bad this season, but it's a very important win against a rival. So yeah, let's go on to the next game, Bournemouth vs Sunderland. That finished 1-1, and probably, you know what? I wouldn't even say the fair result. Potentially, some might say, but Bournemouth have a massive problem in taking their chances. Evan Nielsen did score this game, and Ali, you've been a big critic of Evan Nielsen, but is he doing enough for his team?
Nope, absolutely not. The amount of chances this guy gets and never converts them, it's a serious problem for Bournemouth. For a team like Bournemouth, and they need a player that can carry them through games. And it was Semenyo. Now that Semenyo's gone, yes, they got Ryan and they got Krupi. But with the experience that Evan Nielsen's had now, how long he's been in the Premier League, he really needs to start converting his chances to help Bournemouth win these kind of games. How can you have 21 shots, maybe 5 on target, and you only scored 1 goal. Now, obviously, you can't blame that all on Evan Nielsen. I think that's way too harsh to do that. But he is the striker, and it is his job to score these goals, and he's not taking those chances. So, of course, the eyes would be on him. And to be fair, I feel like a lot of people have criticised him a little. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they try and move him on in the summer and get someone to replace him. I think that would be the right move, if I'm being honest. Bournemouth have had this problem before this season against West Ham as well, and probably in other games, where they've had so many shots and just have not converted them. So it's something that they need to work on, whether that is replacing the striker or whether that's just something to do with the team. Then yeah, they just need to fix something, because clearly there's a big problem there.
I feel like the one game that they were, taking their chances was against United when we drew 4-4. That was the only game they felt like they were scoring.
Just a game of terrible defenses from both teams.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But let's give a bit of credit to Sunderland. I mean, listen, Bournemouth have still kept their unbeaten run intact of 8 games, and Sunderland, to be fair, this is a good point away from home, I would say. What do we think about them? And obviously, Granit Xhaka, I'm not sure whether this was his first game back, but he was out for a while and now he's back in the team. How important is he to them? And what else?
I think he was getting best player of the season or best signing of the season shouts at the start of the season. I still think he's one of the best signings from last transfer window in the summer, but I still think they do rely on him heavily, and obviously when he wasn't in the team, Sunderland were not playing as well. Because I think only recently they lost their unbeaten run at home. But that's been their strong point this season. Sunderland have been really good at home, but away not as good. But I think recently they've started to get results away from home, which will definitely help to improve their season and get them points along the way. Because obviously you can't just rely with your home form. You have to also be good away from home. Also down to the goalkeeper as well. Robin Roos has probably been one of the best goalies this season. He's kept Sunderland a lot of the games, kept them clean sheets, or just helped them win games. And I've said in nearly every episode, but goalkeepers can win you games. I think the stuff that they do kind of goes unnoticed because obviously people look at the goals scored instead of the saves that goalkeepers make. And obviously we'll talk about Raya as well. Raya was immense for Arsenal this weekend as well. But yeah, I think it's very important what goalkeepers do in football, and people need to just give them more praise.
100%. And fair play to him, because he was, if I remember, quite a small club before, with all due respect to the club he was at previously, in comparison to joining the Premier League and having the impact he had. So, fair play to him. But let's move on to the next game. And one of the high-scoring games, and probably the most interesting game this weekend, I would say. A lot happened. Brentford beating Burnley 4-3 away from home. Let's just go through what happened in the game. Obviously, Brentford went 3-0 up quite quickly in the first half. And then in the second half, or at the beginning of the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half, Burnley made a 3-3 comeback. But in the last minute, Brentford go and score the winner. What a game, huh?
Yeah, I mean, Burnley are going to be so devastated with this result, because not only did they make the back to 3-3, but then when it was 4-3, they also scored a goal and it got disallowed. 2, was it? That got disallowed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, devastating. Absolutely devastating, especially for the position they're in. Yeah, I know we talk about the fact that they're probably, kind of down and out and not going to probably make a comeback. But there would have been a chance, There still is a chance, mathematically, and this win would have definitely boosted their, morale and given them a bit of momentum, especially at home. But yeah, it's going to be so devastating for these players. And I mean, there's not really much you can say. It's just a really unfortunate game and an unfortunate result for them in the end. But one thing you got to respect is, the perseverance and the resilience and the strong mentality those players have. Because to be 3-0 down in the first half and to still make a comeback to 3-3 is very, very impressive. So you got to give a lot of credit for that. But unfortunately, they obviously didn't get to get anything out of the game, which is really sad. But yeah, that's just how it goes. Unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles, and it's an unfortunate result for them.
Yeah, 100%. It happens sometimes in football. But let's go on to the Brentford side of things. You talk about resilience from Burnley side. They must have been very disappointed when it was 3-3. But to go and get the winner after being down, they must have felt like everything was going against them at that point. But to go, like I said, to go and get the late winner. And Mikkel Damsgaard, you lot might remember him from that run from Denmark in the 2020 Euros, where he was fantastic and he was seen as one of the bright future players for Denmark, the new Christian Eriksen, some might say. I mean, this is a very big performance for him and helped his team gain a very important win. So, what do we think?
I think he's been one of the more like crucial players for Brentford. Obviously, when Buemo and Wissa have left the club, there wasn't really much, of the spotlight on Damsgaard. But I think he started to shine this season, and he's become a very important player for them. Obviously, scoring 2 goals and assists this game just proves that. And yeah, I feel like he can be a very crucial player for Brentford, and hopefully for Brentford's sake, he stays in the club and doesn't go off to a bigger club, because clearly he's got a lot of talent. And obviously some experience in the Premier League, and that's like very attractive to a lot of clubs. So yeah, I hope that he stays for Brentford, does well for them, and continues to get results for them.
100%. Let's move on to the next game, and unfortunately, unfortunately we do. It is Liverpool versus West Ham. Liverpool smash West Ham 5-2. I mean, Al, maybe you can tell us a bit more about the game. Is the scoreline a fair scoreline, and just discuss what you think about the West Ham side?
Honestly, I don't think the scoreline genuinely reflects how the game really went and how West Ham played. You look at that scoreline, you think, yeah, that's it. West Ham got absolutely bad, but obviously we did actually make it 4-2 at one point. 3-1 at one point. We started to, show some sort of comeback, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. But I thought we actually did play well, especially even though we conceded a goal in the first 5 minutes, which, to be honest, is typical from West Ham. But after that, genuinely watching the game, we did play really well, and they were, really strong. Really pushing up there, getting a lot of chances, if I'm being honest, and really pushing Liverpool. But unfortunately, Liverpool were able to get the second goal and then the third goal. So then that probably shut down the players' mentality, their morale and everything, and their confidence. Second half, obviously get a goal pretty early on in the second half with Souček, and then they made it 4-1, so there you go again, and then Tati Castro makes it 4-2, but then they make it 5-2. So yeah, very devastating considering that we've been on a decent run before that game, and obviously we do have massive games coming up ahead. I was devastated at the result at the time, but then looking at the other 2 teams near us that lost as well, kind of softened the blow, to be fair, so I'm not too mad about it, and I think that some of the players did play well. Mavropanos is, the transformation he's had is actually insane. Sort of one of the blocks he made was absolutely mental, and yeah, so a lot of credit. The one thing I will say, and it's going to be mental to say because we conceded 5, but the defense have genuinely gotten better. But that game, unfortunately, just wasn't.
I'm not. Weren't the first 3 goals set pieces?
Yes.
So yeah, that's something you should probably work on. Yeah, exactly. I mean, set pieces are just sort of the way a lot of teams are scoring nowadays.
The way the Prem's going.
Arsenal, we'll discuss them later. United, we'll discuss them later. And just a lot of the teams in the Premier League, obviously long throws, free kicks, corners. It's just, that seems to be the way that most teams are getting a lot of their goals. But obviously, let's go on to Liverpool. Obviously, like we say, 3 set pieces at the beginning. Still very important to get those goals. What do we think about this performance? And has this given them a bit more of a shout for the top 4? And do you think they can overtake Villa and get that 4th place spot? I mean, maybe even 3rd if United fumble.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, as what Ali said, I don't think the scoring reflects on how the game actually went on. But this is a very convincing result for them, and definitely will build their confidence and possibly push them up to top 4. Obviously, with Villa falling off right now, it's perfect time for Liverpool to capitalise on that and get into the top 4 race. They're only 3 points behind Aston Villa, so just 1 win away. If Villa lose and they win, they're on level points, and I think because Liverpool's got more goal difference, then they'll obviously get in front. So yeah, I think Liverpool definitely on the shout, especially now Chelsea not doing entirely well in the league right now. I think it's just between Liverpool and United at this point. I think Villa, if they continue to free fall, I think they're not completely in it. It's just 2 teams fighting for top 4 right now.
Let's move on to the next game, and the next game is Newcastle vs Everton. Another team from Merseyside getting a big win, but away from home against Newcastle, who are a team that I've had a bit of a mixed season.
No, I think they've had a bad season.
You think?
I honestly think they've had a really bad season.
For their standard, I agree.
And for the team they have.
Yeah, 100%. Well, let's go on to Newcastle. I mean, we normally talk about St James's Park being a fortress for them.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Again, it's just not good. 3 goals conceded at home.
Yeah. Do you know what? I honestly think Eddie Howe has genuinely taken this team as far as he can. I really do. I think this team, he's playing Voldemort at centre mid. Jonathan that's right. But he's playing players in the wrong position, right, for starters. And, you know, because Voldemort, he came in and he was good to begin with. Yeah, getting goals like in a lot of games, right? Why are you playing him in midfield? He is a clear striker. He's a striker. It's stupid. He did it, like, fair enough, he did it with Joel and it worked. It's not going to work with every player you're going to do it with. You get what I'm saying? You've got to play Voldemort as striker, Gordon on the wing. I'm pretty sure Joelinton was playing on the wing this game.
Yeah.
Why is he playing on the wing? Why is Voldemort playing at midfield and Gordon is playing striker, bro?
To be fair, they have a few injuries.
Is he dyslexic or something? Because I don't know what's going on there. But look, that is clearly a massive mistake in that sense. And I've seen Newcastle fans complain about that. But look, I think he's taking them as far as he can. Because look, that squad is, you know, Champions League worthy squad. Not to win, by the way. I just mean like to get Champions League football, get into Champions League football. Obviously, they've done it before with him, and you've got to respect that. But I think now he's genuinely taking them as far as he can. One thing I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, I do think the defence, and not the whole defence, like I think obviously they got like Lewis Hall and they got Livramento. Those are good players. But players like Trippier, Dan Burn, and Shaw, I'm not going to lie, I think they genuinely need to like replace them because they're too slow.
They need Nick Pope as well. Nick Pope for that goal.
There's
no
big
mistake by him as well.
Yeah.
He's had a few errors in him this season as well.
Yeah. Because the only thing with me in the centre backs is like you can have one that is slow, like you know, someone you can have like a Shaw and someone that's like
but Thiago,
you know what I'm saying?
Thiago's pretty
Thiago. Yeah, so you can have Thiago in this, but like I don't know. I just think they need to replace some of the.
They do need to rebound the defence. To be fair, I think Burn, like you say, and
Thiago is good. I do like Thiago.
You know what? I'm going to mention something about Villa. I think everybody knows. Sorry, not Villa. What am I talking about? Everton.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. In the game,
yeah,
they scored pretty much straight from kickoff after Newcastle scored. 2 minutes after Jacob Ramsey.
Yeah.
And 2 minutes after Jacob Murphy. Weird. They both got the same name.
Yeah.
That's very good mentality from Aston Villa. Why am I sticking with that name? Everton to score directly almost from kickoff.
Yeah.
You got to give credit where credit's due.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
100%. I think with Everton, it just shows they've got the guts to, you know, come back from you know, goal conceded. I mean, the things at Everton, right? I've kind of criticised them for the goal scoring because they haven't scored enough goals. Like, I think the creativity they have in the team is a lot, and they're not capitalising off that. Especially the likes of Jack Grealish and all these other players. I don't know if he played this game. I think
he's out for the rest of the season. Is he not?
Yeah, he's got a broken foot. My bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in general, they've got a lot of players in there. They're very talented. Iliman Ndiaye especially.
Mm-hmm. And Dewsbury Hall.
And Dewsbury Hall as well. He got an assist this game as well too.
That guy used to be a meme, and now he's like proper player.
Even the strikers, they used to be a big
meme. Yeah, they're getting goals.
Yeah, they're getting goals. Both of them scored this game, so you've got to respect them now. I mean, they're doing a shift for Everton now, and Everton will get results away from home at St James Park, which we know is not an easy place to win. So you got to give credit where credit is due. And with Newcastle, you got to also consider the injuries as well. Like Bruno Guimaraes is their best player. He's injured. You got Miley as well. He was starting for a lot of the games. He's injured too. Livramento as well. Shaw is also injured too. So we've got a few injuries that obviously, you know, hold them back. But, you know, credit to Everton for getting the win.
100%. You know, there was also a player I did want to mention, Jared Brathwaite. He's had injury problems and he was out of the team for a while for Everton. So for him to come back in the team and also get a goal is very, very important. So he had a lot of rumours to join Man United about 2 seasons ago when we signed De Ligt. There was a lot of, I think he was almost convinced he was going to join, but obviously it falls through because of Everton asked for a high price tag. And, you know, if he can keep it up, I don't think he might leave this summer, but maybe the summer after he might get a big move. Yeah. But we'll have to wait and see. Let's go on to another team doing quite well. It's Manchester City. Manchester City, they beat Leeds 1-0. And Semenyo, probably the signing of the January transfer window, to say the least. He's, you know, I remember we were discussing the fact that if Haaland falls off, who scores goals? And now it seems like they've solved that problem with Semenyo. Semenyo seems like he's taken that mantle of scoring goals at the moment because he's scored like at least 5 or 6 goals since he's joined Man City. Yeah,
hell of a player. Look, the thing is with a player like Semenyo, it's one of them. You just know he's going to go into that team and just do well. There's some I say that as if we didn't question the move a little, to be fair. But you kind of have to sometimes, you know. You can't it's never a guarantee. But to be fair to him, I think our biggest concern was what Guardiola did to Grealish. Will he do the same to Semenyo? And I think he's probably maybe learned a little from maybe what he did to Grealish. And I know they're not exactly the same player. Of course they're not. So it's obviously a different situation. But obviously we just know how Guardiola can, you know, he shapes his players to really fit his system. And sometimes it just doesn't work, like you say with Grealish. It didn't really work out as he probably hoped it would have. But no, Semenyo's a completely different case. He's come in, hit the ground running completely. If anything, he's probably carrying City at the moment. If it weren't for him, they probably would. They obviously would have not got to win this game, and they wouldn't be doing as well as they are. But why are we surprised? City, they have all the money in the world, it seems. Somehow haven't been charged for the 115 charges they've got on them. But when that comes, that'll be a very crazy day to see what the result of that is. But no, you've got to give credit to City still for winning that game.
I think Sharky as well and Nuri need to get credit from you.
Yeah,
well,
of course.
They were
100%.
crucial for that goal as well. The
100%.
link-up play they had was really nice on the wing. And obviously, Nuri puts in a brilliant cross with Semenyo, just an easy tap in front. So, some of the players I see are just class. The goalkeeper especially.
These are all new signings, like you mentioned. Sometimes with Pep, it takes a bit of time for the players to embed. Because if you remember when Rodri first joined, it seemed like he wasn't going to do very well, and then he won a Ballon d'Or. So,
Marmoush's kind of fallen off, if I'm being honest as well. He's
not
been great.
He's another one of those players that I think you just got to give time. I think with Pep, he will improve.
I think he was good when he first came, though. I just don't think he's had enough game time.
I think because he had momentum from Frankfurt.
Yeah.
He had such good form that even with the fact he's joining the Premier League, he scored a hat-trick in his first
I don't think he has
games.
Yeah, I think match fitness, maybe he's not sharp enough.
I think he got a couple of injuries as well. But let's talk about Leeds a little bit. It's 1-0. Maybe you could say that they're maybe defensively solid. Maybe they didn't they helped stop City on a couple of occasions, but
I think they got quite unlucky in that game. I swear it was like
they missed a lot of chances.
Yeah, they missed some chances. To be fair, they could have got something out of this game. One thing I do want to mention, and I don't want to keep this political or anything like that, but it was disgusting that the fans booed. Basically, the players took a break for to break their fast, and the Leeds fans actually booed that decision, and it's just disgusting. It's not something.
Leeds has got a very high Muslim population as well.
It's just something you don't want to see in football, and I'm sure not all the fans of Leeds, were booing or are against this decision, but the ones that did, it's just disgusting. It's not something you want to see in football, and shame on them really. But again, I don't want to make it too political, so we'll just keep it at that. But
again, I think this result isn't very good. Obviously, it's a loss, but in the context, it's not that bad because
they could have won this game easily.
100%. I feel like for them, if they don't, it's a good thing their goal difference didn't go too low. That's something you've all got to take into account because goal difference becomes a massive thing when it comes near the end of the season. So, it's kind of a good thing for them in that sense. Now we're going to go on to Sunday where we have the same result for all 4 games. The home side winning 2-1. Let's start off with Brighton. They won 2-1 against Nottingham Forest. And this is one of the first games Al was very happy with. And the fact that Brighton won 2-1, as we mentioned.
Yeah, successful hate watch to say the least. Very happy. I have nothing against Forest per se, but obviously we are battling to get out of relegation. So unfortunately for you, Forest, I will be hate watching every single game you play for the rest of the season. And to be honest, I hate the owner. Screw the owner. He deserves everything that gets coming his way.
That's true.
Talking about the game, to be fair, Brighton, this is the Brighton I'm used to. The way they were playing, to be fair, Forest aren't necessarily great, but the way Brighton were playing was very good. The football they were playing, the chances they were making. But what this game did make me realise is how the reason why Brighton have probably not done so well this season is their style of play is very open. And that is what catches them out a lot of the time and why they concede a lot of goals and why they lose a lot of games and lose a lot of leads. So that's, because I don't watch Brighton often, but when I have, and I have now realised that the style of play is the reason why they're not doing so, maybe doing as good as we thought they would. But, this win's obviously massive for them in the context of this thing. It's not like they're really fighting for anything at the moment. They're not fighting for Europe. They're more probably likely fighting to not get relegated, but they're not even close to that either. So it's just a good win for them, maybe build a bit of momentum and stuff. A good thing that, like we talked about earlier with scoring the goal right after conceding, they did that exactly really well. And Welbeck scoring another goal, which is really good for him because he's been really good for Brighton this season, and it's another goal from him. So I'm not really surprised, but he took that goal very well. So fair play to him. It's a good win for Brighton.
I think something I want to mention as well with both the sides that are in the relegation scrap alongside West Ham and Forest and Spurs, the fact that they have Europe. And we mentioned it also with the previous video with United and the fact they don't have Europe and the rest of the teams do. I think that can be a major aspect on why potentially West Ham make the great escape. In terms of, fingers crossed for your sake, I guess. That's it. Let's talk about Forest.
It was a great goal by Gibbs White, to be fair.
Yeah.
And you can't really talk about the Brighton defence when there's not really much you can do about that. I mean, it's just been an insane strike, you know what I mean? So there's only so much a team can do about that, or a goalie can do about that. So, but, credit to them for trying at least, because we know they've been in a bad situation this whole season, just sacking managers left, right, and centre now. Have more managers than wins this year. But it's just, it's unfortunate. I mean, but it's part of the game, I guess, and it's down to the owner. I'm not the biggest fan of what the Forest owner is doing. Just sacking managers all the time, not giving them enough time to, get results, because we know Forest is already like in a free fall, and the fact that he sacked Sean Dyche when he was getting results here and there is good for Forest. I think Forest can't be too greedy, and they've had certain good draws against some good sides like Arsenal, for example. So I mean, it is what it is. We know what we think about the owner, but hopefully Forest, and for their sake, they don't get relegated.
Yeah, for their sake, but not for Ali's sake.
No,
as he said, successful.
To be honest, I'd rather Spurs get relegated, but anyway, we'll move on to that.
Let's discuss Spurs, shall we? So, as we said, the home side went 2-1, Fulham with the home side, Tottenham with the away side, and Tottenham keep up that streak of not winning in the Premier League this year. How poor have they been?
Do you know what?
How poor have they been?
I'd be more worried if I were a Spurs fan than if I were a Forest fan. Because one thing I will say, when I've watched Forest in the last 2 games under Vitor Pereira, they've actually played well. There's actual mentality from the players, and they look like they actually care and are trying. Whereas when I've watched Tottenham, oh my God. Look, I know West Ham were pretty bad middle of the season when it came to the mentality of the players. But this is like something I've never seen before. These players have just given up already. They've given up. Yes, they've scored a goal, but it was a consolation goal. And to be honest, it didn't really mean anything. And look, they've just been awful since... I don't know, since forever, really, in the season. They've just been awful. I think it's down to the players. Because, look, I don't think Thomas Frank is a bad manager. Do I think he's a bit too kind for a team like this? Probably. That's probably where his downfall came. I said it before, the egos is a big problem at Tottenham. And it's shown in a game like this again. I just don't think that any of the players are, doing enough, care enough to even do anything. But, it's not looking good, and if I'm being honest, I think they could be more likely to get relegated than Forest or West Ham. But that could bite me back in the ass if we get relegated, so I hope that doesn't happen. We'll see what happens.
Let's discuss Fulham, and I wanted to discuss Mr. Harry Wilson. We've discussed him a lot this season, and
the Welsh Messi.
The Welsh Messi, to say the least, mate. A goal and an assist. I mean, to be fair, the assist was just a pass to Wilby, who placed it beautifully. But it was a great goal. It was just passed into the corner, which was...
His uncle isn't JJ Okocha for no reason, you know?
That's true, yeah.
That's a good point.
But like we said, Harry Wilson's been such an informed player for them and has been the reason why they've done so well this season. And honestly, I'm actually not sure about his age. I'll double check that while we're...
Do you think he gets to move to a bigger club?
That's what I'm just...
He's 28.
I mean, he's got...
I think he's got
a big move for him.
Hear me out. I think this is the perfect club for him. I think if he goes on to a bigger club, I think we see it many times where we think the next step is right for the player and then it just doesn't work out.
I mean, he's entering his prime, so we don't know.
Yeah, but he might diminish. Like, he might not be... Because right now he's Fulham's, best player, right?
Sometimes that's what helps a player, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, the fact that he feels like he's got a lot on his shoulders, he's got to try harder.
Exactly, he's the main man, so it kind of helps him in that sense.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, fair play to Fulham. That's
they're playing great.
They were definitely better than Tottenham. I mean, most teams play better than Tottenham.
Is it a really big statement on that point?
No, not really. Let's go on to the next game, shall we? So there wasn't really much to discuss between Tottenham are. Let's discuss Manchester United. Also win 2-1 since they were the home side against Crystal Palace. Now, I'm going to let you discuss Palace first, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And let's discuss one player in particular, LaCroix. A couple of years ago was known for a very, very big meme.
Yeah.
But obviously now he's actually doing very, very well.
Yeah.
Mixed game to say the least.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, let's discuss the goal.
Yeah.
And
his goal.
His goal. I think his goal was very, very good from his personal point of view. Very good placed header.
Honestly, I know he got sent off, but I genuinely thought he had a good game up until then. And to be honest, did he make the wrong decision by bringing Cunha down? To be fair, I thought it was... Obviously, it's a red card because it was a goal-scoring opportunity. But it did look a bit soft at the time, probably. We did discuss whether it should have been a pen or a free kick. looking back at the replay, probably should have been a free kick. But in terms
Yeah,
of
I've seen them given as a free kick, to be fair.
But realistically, it doesn't matter because I think they would have lost anyway. But Palace, with them, they just need to, get through the rest of the season and just rebuild, because obviously Glasner's going to leave. But I think the fact that Glasner said he was going to leave so much earlier kind of ruined the whole mentality of the players and the team, and they've been in a free fall ever since. They got to put all eggs in one basket for the Conference League. Then from there, in the summer, they need to probably sign, I'd say Thomas Frank personally. I think he'd be the right man for this job. And then rebuild a lot around him and the players that they have. And that would what I think Palace need to do. I do think they are a good club and they're good at recruitment. So I think they will, do a good job in the summer with that. So we'll see what happens with that. But it's an unfortunate sending off for LaCroix, and that probably ruined the game for them. So,
and you know what? I'll give Palace a bit of credit before we jump onto Manchester United. They were the better side for the majority of the first half. And
first half awful,
even possibly, it probably wasn't a very good game from United, and probably a very good game, and maybe unfair. Up until that red card, I think they were the better team. So, obviously that red card did help Manchester United. And let's start talking about Manchester United.
Yeah.
And I think we can only start with one man. The man who I think is hopefully going to be the player of the season, Mr. Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
What more can we mention about him?
Yeah, our Portuguese Magnifico. He's been doing this week in, week out for United since he's joined. Some of the passing was insane, man. That one pass he did, without even looking at Mbeumo, just completely just crossed. He just first time on the volley, first time. He's been doing it, not just this season. I've been seeing that pass last season as well to Harry Maguire. This season, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just a first time cross.
Yeah, only Bruno can think of doing that. You know what I mean? Most players will control that, think of it to pass to, whatever, maybe restart play. This guy just does it straight away.
Takes risks.
The technique on this guy is insane. And obviously, he scored a penalty, got his 100th goal for United and 100 assists. The third ever United player to do that as well. And his assist as well to Sesko. What a brilliant cross to him as well.
Yeah.
You can talk about the head. The head is great, obviously. But the cross is a masterpiece. And it just goes straight to his head. Sesko doesn't really have to guide them much because it's got so much power. All he has to do is get his head
to the ground.
Head to the ground, and that's it.
That's it, yeah.
So, honestly, fair play to Bruno. And if you think Bruno is not one of the best players in Premier League right now, if not in the world, in terms of midfielder, then I'm sorry, you just deluded. You just got hatred towards him.
No, I think if we keep on the form that we're on, where we've not been beaten in the Premier League this year.
Yeah.
Listen, we might regret saying that. Maybe we lose the next game. But at the current moment in time, Bruno Fernandes has been arguably the best player this year and arguably the best player this season because he's had so many big performances, so many big
13
moments.
assists at this point in the season. The 7 goals too. So that puts him 20 goals and assists in 25 games.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
No other player's doing this right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially a midfielder. And at the start of the season, he was playing number 8, not even in his preferred number 10 role.
Number 6, if anything.
Yeah, number 6, CDM. So it's insane, man. This guy, he'll leave the club, he will go out as a legend, and people will forget how good he was.
Yeah.
Or they'll all actually start to remember how good he was and actually, put respect to his name. So, man. But I want to talk about other players too, obviously. I don't want to give all the spotlight to him. I think Cunha also did a really good job getting that penalty. But as we discussed, I think it was more of a free kick. I mean, as a United fan, I have to be honest and say it did start outside the box. So obviously it will be pulled. If it was a penalty, if you look back at it, I mean, it starts initially outside the box. So that's when he gives the advantage technically. Yeah. So that's where it stops.
Yeah.
But you can understand why he gave it as a penalty. But I still think it's a free kick, if I have to be honest. Maybe Bruno could have scored from a free kick, but free kicks is not always probable for you to score.
Yeah.
But I will say Henderson had a really good game for Crystal Palace. He made some very good saves.
Really good save from Ahmad.
Yeah, brilliant save from him. So I mean, I think Crystal Palace, just as you said, the teams that have Europe right now are struggling to keep players not injured, not feel fatigued or anything like that. So the fact that Crystal Palace put up a good fight, you gotta give respect to him. And not really much to say other than that. But I think Dalot was started to show his true colours again.
Yeah.
Misplaced passes everywhere, all over the pitch. It was horrific to watch.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. We won. I don't want to criticise players too much. And
I think it's a bit harsh just aiming at Dalot because to be fair, I think defensively he was not bad. He kept. There was one moment where he shielded the ball from a Crystal Palace player, which I thought was very, very good. He wasn't doing that earlier in the season. He's gaining a bit more confidence, but again, I just felt like the whole team wasn't playing well in that first half, especially. I want to mention 2 more players before we end the thing. I'll be quick with this. Harry Maguire. got a standing ovation when he got subbed off, and he's been so vital to how good Man United
Steady
did.
performance.
He is not in the air. He's colossal.
Did you see when he held his head as if he
yeah.
got kicked on the head and he just didn't get touched?
Yeah, no, that's horrible for you.
It's the slab.
Yeah, but you gotta respect the performance, and he's come back and some because he was seen as one of the worst players, most memeable players in the world. And now
You got
he's
respect
one
to
of the
him,
most
Yeah.
reliable centre backs in the Premier League at the current moment in time. So fair play to him, and also Benjamin Sesko.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of pressure on him. He's had a lot of criticism saying he's not good enough for United. And this is the thing with Man United players: if you don't perform in any of your first couple of games, you will get criticised, and that's how it is. And criticised to an absolute insane level. But he's put his head down. He's actually known for being one of the hardest workers in the United squad. Him and Dallo always come to training early, apparently. And,
Nothing's working out for Dallo in that case, but from it does. So.
Yeah. And also, the thing is, I've been waiting for that moment. Bruno Fernandes cross with the Sesko header. I've been waiting for that. And it was better than probably what I imagined. Because the cross was so good, where Sesko didn't have to do much with it.
One thing I want to say is I want other players to feed Sesko. I don't want Bruno to be the only one. Because it feels like he's the only one who's trying to, feed the striker.
I mean, you say that Burma got assist last time,
Yeah, but
and that was
it's mostly Bruno from what I'm seeing. And I do want to see more players step up. But
I think it just depends on the game. It depends on what the game is being played, and it just has how it works out.
3 goals and 3 for him. That's just very good for him.
And I think he's got 7 or 8 Premier League goals.
6 and 7.
8 goals in the Prem.
8 goals.
Oh yeah, sorry. I thought you meant
8 goals in the Prem this season. So you got to respect. That's not a bad tally, and there's still 10 games to go. So he could hit double.
He's been off the bench most of the time as well. So
exactly. So big super sub. So let's move on to the next game. The final game. And so many things that are standard in this game. Arsenal scoring corners, Chelsea getting a red card, and that's pretty much it. And on goal, but it was actually against Arsenal this time. Let's discuss corners, because I actually saw a video up and coming to this where it was like, so we must stop corners, and it was just all fans.
Yeah, literally, I've seen that video.
And I think all 3 goals were from corners. But listen, let's not think about the corners, and I want to discuss one player in particular for Arsenal, David Raya.
Oh, what a player! You know what? I know we've talked about David Raya. We've talked about whether he's the best goalkeeper in the Premier League. Honestly, not only is he the best keeper in the Premier League, I think he's the best keeper in the world. And I don't think it's close at this point. Well, maybe it's close.
Well, you're not the same one criticising the other game.
That's what I'm saying. I'll hold out my hands and I'll be like, you know what, fair play. He's genuinely is the best. Like, the amount of saves this guy's made.
That save from the corners.
The save from the corner is actually insane. Like, look, the only person, in my opinion, the only keeper that's close to him in the league is Donnarumma. But something that Donnarumma really struggled with is the crosses, the corners, to be fair, claiming them. And Raya's absolutely brilliant.
Even Jordan Pickford, I forgot to mention it for the Everton game.
His save was unbelievable.
Totally shot, bro. Yeah. That was...
Yeah, Pickford only tins up in the big games, though. But anyway...
It's just a fight against the English goalkeepers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, going back to the David Raya, just Arsenal in general. Yeah, I feel like every time we criticise them, and every time we think, you're going to lose this game, they just come back and just prove everyone wrong. And this is another game like that. Every time we hope this season that they're going to lose, they just don't lose. And they just win. And they make a statement. And this is another game where they've made another statement. And fair play to them. The Gyökeres, to be honest, do you know what? I want to talk about something. We've talked about, with one of our Arsenal friends, about Ødegaard, right? And whether, how bad he's been. Something I talked about is the fact the way Arsenal play, it doesn't really benefit the cam in any way, because they don't go through the middle. They always go down the wing. If you watch them play, it's always, down the wing, cross, or even if it goes to Saka, he always crosses it or cuts inside. He never gives it to the cam and never gives the opportunity for the cam to make the chances, right? And unfortunately, players like Eze and Ødegaard are suffering because of that. They're not bad players in of themselves. They are very, very good players. Even Ødegaard, he's an elite level player. But the issue is the way they play just doesn't benefit them whatsoever at the moment. And that's why they've been struggling. Same with Gyökeres. They just don't go down the middle the way that would benefit these players. And that's why they don't probably get the goals that they want. I mean, to be fair to both of those players, they get goals in the last game. But but I just wanted to mention that. And it's a good win for Arsenal. And to be honest, it looks more likely each week that they're going to win the league.
Yes. You know what? And I will go back to it and say that Carabao Cup final will define everything. Man City and Arsenal are both winning games. they have to keep on doing that from now until that game and even the league game, and they've got to play each other as well. So I'll have to wait and see what happens in that game. Those games are going to be absolutely vital, and even how deep they go in the Champions League as well. I mean, Arsenal are in all 4 competitions, so I mean, City are still as well, to be fair. So they're both technically on for a quadruple. Where I mean, Arsenal are the favourites technically on paper. They finished top of the Champions League. They finished at the top of the Premier League. They're in the Carabao Cup final, FA Cup. So yeah, Arsenal have a lot to look forward to this season, but in a couple of games, it could go all downhill. But if they keep up the form, then fair play. But let's go on to Chelsea. Another red card.
Yeah, I mean, as I've been saying, if they were in WWE, they'll be winning the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like it's
joint most red cards in I think Premier League history from a team.
They've had more red cards than wins, isn't it? This year.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous for a team like Chelsea of their caliber.
They've had more red cards than home wins this season.
It's insane.
It's ridiculous, man. But yeah, I feel bad for certain players like Reece James. When he plays for Chelsea, he really tries and he does.
He's unbelievable.
He's good, bro.
He's a really good player. I think he deserves better than Chelsea because Chelsea right now are just in a complete big mess, and it's down to the ownership as well. I think the ownership is a bit chaotic as well. Like I don't want to get too political, but with American owners who don't know nothing about football, like the Glazers, for example, they just make signings, just based off PR and who they think will come.
To be fair, you say that. I mean, Arsenal have American owners, and they're doing quite well.
I think the other owners. I mean, yeah, that's true. But I think
they get the right people though.
And Liverpool's owners, I think, they're American too.
But these owners, they get in the right people to do the job, whereas the Chelsea owner is doing the job himself essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? He doesn't know what he's on about. If he gets in someone that does know how to do the job, that's different. But he's not doing that at the moment, and that's why they're struggling in that sense. Yeah. I know we talked about Raya, but we need to talk about Sanchez because
Sanchez was. I was going to move on to him. Yeah,
so,
he was.
You go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Sanchez is awful, man. That pass at the start of the game, very scary pass. Like, he could easily concede a goal from that. And some of the saves or some of the misses he had, like, he's trying to, I think, punch one of the balls out, and he completely missed it or whatever. Like,
he's just awful, unfortunately.
He's had good games, to be honest, but he's just so inconsistent. Like, you cannot trust him. And you need your goalkeeper to consist, like Lemens, for example. Yeah. So that's just very scary for a goalkeeper. You know, like, you don't want a goalkeeper who's got errors in him and can potentially lose you the game. And Sanchez has got too much of that in him, and they need to invest in new goals.
And that's the thing; their central defenders and their goalkeeper are the place I think they need to invest in. This
they're really young. They're really young.
Not just they're really young. I just don't think they're good enough.
Hato is 19.
Hato's a left back.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the defense in general.
No, I mean the central three, the two centre backs and the goalkeeper.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Reece James is fantastic. We know that Hato is young.
Hato's young.
Correa as well when he's available. Exactly, and Hato's young. He can
it's the centre backs and the goalkeeper.
Yeah,
exactly.
And also Joao Pedro missed a few chances too as well.
Yeah, but he's a good player.
He is a good player, and I think it's also just a David Raya masterclass as well.
Exactly, 100%.
Not much they could have done, but Chelsea not in a bad run of form right now, but a team like Chelsea can definitely start getting.
And I also want to mention one more player before we
sure.
This part of the video. I know he only came on for like about 10 minutes. Liam Delap, man. He's
an ass, bro.
I said it at the beginning of the season. I said he was going to be the worst signing this season.
I can't believe he was linked to
I think he's actually beaten my expectations. I think he's worse than what I thought.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I only thought he would do bad because of the competition with Joao Pedro. I just think he's another level of bad.
Yeah.
Listen, he might prove me wrong.
I don't think I'll
Liam Delap, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. But yeah.
I'm not sorry.
But yeah, it's not very good at all from his part. But I think Chelsea, to be fair, at the end of the game, they gave it a good goal. But again, Raya was just very, very good. So when you have a goalkeeper like that and the team works well together, they are very, very good and have a very, very big chance of winning the Premier League this season. But that is it, guys. That is it for this match week. A lot of good games. And before we get onto the quiz, the leaderboard is shown now. I do not know what it looks like. Al, what's it looking like now?
Me and Addison are 11 points, and you're still well beyond.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thought it'd be I wanted a bit more positive.
Damn, I was at good points ahead of you.
Yeah.
And now it's just
Well, there you go. I don't know. Do we have a winner prize? I don't know. We'll discuss that later. At least we know what the loser's going to get.
Cross that bridge when we get to it.
Let's do the predictions as well. I think it's just easier for us to just put the predictions up. Saves us time. So yeah, those are the predictions. Leave your predictions in the comments below and see if you agree with us, and if not, let us know what your predictions are. But before we end the video, Al, can you give us the quiz for the next player, please?
Yes, and let's start off with the first fact. He was sent off in the 9-1 aggregate defeat in European competition while playing for an English club in the 2011-12 season. The second fact is he was one of the 3 Honduran brothers to play professional football, and 2 of them played together in England. The third fact is he joined a Premier League club in January 2009 and was cup-tied for a European competition that season after already featuring in it for another English side. For the fourth fact, he made his Premier League debut in a 1-0 win against Liverpool in 2008. And for the fifth and the final fact, before moving to Tottenham Hotspur, he was a part of a Wigan Athletic side that narrowly avoided relegation on the final day of the 2007-08 season. Let us know if you know who that is in the comments down below. And of course, at the start of the next video, I will reveal. So, yeah.
Perfect, guys. Thank you very much. So, obviously, in the next video, we'll be discussing the match week 29 results. But for this video, thank you guys very much for coming in. Please leave a like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so you get notified when we upload videos. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.
Take care.